Hope everyone's doing well today. I'm going to cover a topic today a little bit different, and I ask if you could please hang out with me on this one because I'm going to get to a point at the end where it's all going to kind of make sense. I recently watched a video that was literally titled, I Hate AI, and I was watching the video, and I've seen many videos like this, and as the guy continued talking, I thought he was going to cover, it's going to take all our jobs, all that kind of stuff. But he mainly, when he got to his point, was talking about AI taking coding jobs, which that I can understand. But there is so much information out there that people are starting to panic that AI is going to take their job in just a couple of years. And today, I want to talk about that from a point of view that I have because of my age and how I don't think you need to worry about AI taking your job as much as you think. And when I start to give some of the examples, I think you might understand. So I want to cover the first thing I did. The first thing I did is I decided to look up what are the top 10 jobs in America, what most people in America do, the top jobs that are occupied by most Americans. And I'm just going to rattle through them, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about afterwards why I think some are okay and some aren't. So these are the top most common jobs in America, 2024 to 2026. Home health and personal care aides. I don't think there's a problem there with AI, and I'm just going to rattle through some. Retail salesperson. We'll talk about that in a minute. Fast food and counter workers. General operation managers. Registered nurses. Cashiers. Laborers and material movers. Stockers and order fillers. Customer service representatives, and office clerks. Now, some of those I think are going to be affected by AI, but not as quick as you think, and some of them just aren't. But again, let me get to my end point, and you'll understand what I mean by all of this. So I took a little bit and went further into that. What kind of jobs are in danger or not in danger? So these are the ones that I don't think are in danger. Skilled physical laborers, for this reason. They talk about robots are going to come around and they're going to take people's jobs, but there are not enough robots, even in the near future, to take over all the jobs. So I think it's going to be way more than a decade, possibly 2 decades, before we see automated robots taking over jobs. I really do believe that, or to a point where it impacts a lot of people. I know to some people that's a long time, other people it's not a long time, but I want you to keep that in mind in that time frame, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that time frame all involves. So another job that is safe is highly accountable roles. These are doctors, lawyers, financial aides. I want to look at them as people that their job requires some sort of license, legal coverage, stuff like that. Those jobs are not going to be in trouble with AI. Roles for these things, I think the best way it's said is legal accountability of some sort, whether through a license or whatever. This is one I thought was kind of neat that didn't come into my mind. Jobs focused on meaning and purpose. Now, these can be creators, performers, spiritual leaders, any kind of role where authenticity is a premium. And for me as a creator, that makes me feel good, especially the way that I think that YouTube is starting to push some of these things now. If you followed my channel, I made my own AI clone and did a bunch of stuff, and those videos didn't do well. That's why I came back to doing them on my own. And it seems, at least right now, that YouTube is pushing for the authentic person, and I think that's what this is going to be. And again, if you're doing any of these sorts of jobs that I was talking about, those are the ones I think that are safe. Positions requiring complex interpersonal relationships. So we're talking any sort of creator-performer. We're talking about spiritual leaders. Any role where authenticity is a premium, where you as the person are why people are tuning in. So if that kind of makes sense, I want to group all those together there. And the other one there is some sort of position that requires complex interpersonal relationships, such as politicians, diplomats, and negotiators. Now, again, all of those things, you can step way outside of that to kind of fit in what I mean by jobs are safe. So I think you're already starting to think about these. This is something that someone brought up that I thought was interesting. Another job that is safe is the people who own the AI or the people who own the robots. That's a job that's safe if you own those. I also think people who repair them and work on them to some level your job is going to be safe. But there's a whole lot of other jobs out there that absolutely do not have any sort of worry about AI. So I want to point out a few things here. The healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, therapists, skilled tradesmen like electricians, plumbers, carpenters, mechanics, anything where something physically needs fixed that is not modular, where things are popped in and out, emergency responders of all sort of types, like I said, of all sort of types, creative directors who people are in charge of things, whether it be a play you see, a band, a museum, anything like that. And here's one that you also have to think about. Athletes are not going to be replaced with AI. At least I don't think. Maybe the robots in a whole bunch of years they'll do that, but I think all of those are kind of interestingly intermingled there. But here's what I want to paint this picture with. This is what I hope you stuck around for this. I lived through the age where there was no desktop computers in an office or a building or anything to where there was desktop computers in an office or building. And that did not happen overnight. So your need to be able to run a computer did not happen overnight. It took a lot of time before businesses could afford them. They moved them in. They paid for training on some of the people. Some of the stuff you went and learned yourself so that you could have a certificate and go out and get a job. But that was something that I think that the AI age we can take a look at is through the experience of people who lived through the time where there was no computers to where there is computers. I think there are people who railed against computers as a job and are now using computers. And I think pretty much every job on some level, you're using a computer to some level, even if you're just logging in your timesheets or anything like that. Computers are part of everybody's job. So in the future, AIs are going to be a part of everyone's job. And that's one of the things that I kind of think that I want to point out so that you guys can see that. How do you fight against this if it does? You don't, because it's going to happen just like computers happened. I have friends that were like, well, I could do that job if I knew computers. Well, that's the whole thing. They want someone who knows computers. So you can learn AI. This is probably one of the most important things. Learn to leverage AI in what you do now. Learn to leverage it. You may not leverage it the same in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but learn to leverage AI right now. Continue learning about this stuff. Don't look at your life going, I know everything I need to know right now. I'm not going to learn anything more. You will slowly be replaced. It's as simple as that. Continue learning. Be adaptable to things in your job if you work for someone else, because that is going to make you more valuable than someone says, well, this is what I do. This is what I do. You can't replace me. This is what I do. Be adaptable. And the biggest thing that I am at fault for, the biggest thing that I struggle with is human connection, whether it be networking, being liked by other employees and your boss, being known as being reliable, someone who shows up on time, not just on time, but if you start work at 9 a.m., you show up before 9 a.m. so you're ready to start working at 9 a.m. You don't show up at 9 a.m., you're ready to start working at 9 a.m. Stuff like that, to where you build a reputation as a person who is valuable to a company. You may not be the most valuable person, but they're going to look at you and go, that person's flexible, that person's willing to give it a try. They are the ones that I want around. And that's what I think is going to help you as we go into this future with AI. Like I said, I don't think that AI is going to take as many jobs as everyone is freaking out about. I think there are a lot of small companies that are not going to be able to afford to implement AI. They're definitely not going to be able to afford any sort of robot implementation into the job or workplace, or small factories or small builders or small repairers. There's going to be a certain level to that, but not a lot. But I think to better prepare yourself and kind of make yourself future-proof is those things about learning to leverage AI, connecting, with other humans, being adaptable, and just continually trying to give yourself mental or physical skills, depending on what you're doing, that you didn't have the day before. And that's where I want to end this with, is just to encourage you guys. Everyone's freaking out about this, but I want you not to freak out about it. You have time to build these things. If you're a younger person, you have time to build all these things. You really do, but you do have to start building them to get them. They're not just going to show up. You're not just going to have them tomorrow. So that's my information for this video, and that is my encouragement for you that it is possible. AI is coming just like computers came to the desktops. They're a part of our lives. This stuff's coming, but you have a lot that you can do to prepare yourself to be very useful in the future for those jobs. So I hope this helped. Until next time, take care and God bless. This video is sponsored by immj for all my print-on-demand creations like t-shirts, mugs, posters, original photos, my book, The Creative Virus, or what gear I use. Visit the shops on immj.com or my Amazon, eBay, or Etsy stores.